This is a flip through of my latest Lapbook. I started this one pre-COVID and just picked it back up last month. So it's a big book. It is 9.5 inches by 6 with a 1 3/4 inch spine, and then the two smallest spines are each 3/4 of an inch. Handmade book jewelry that comes off with, I use this plumber's chain finding that just slips on. One of my belts that I love making. The front has this pulls down for a little secret writing spot. One of my handmade faux metal charms. The stitch slots, faux stitch slots there. And this opens up with a magnet for more secret spots to journal, and a big tag. This was done with Tim Holtz papers, Bohemian crafting papers, Tim Holtz embossing folders. There's lots of different papers in this book. Flip it open and the two sides just has a nice collage work done. This opens up and we have a pocket that I put some journaling cards in and some of these vintage game cards, flashcards type things. And in the back pocket underneath these is more journaling cards. This flips open and you have, it's a button closure, but you don't have to, and there's a little booklet inside that I put some paper I found, numbered paper. There are two Tim Holtz journaling cards in these photo frames. This undoes, it's just a fabric, a file folder button that I've created, and it just loops over this thin elastic to hold everything into place. Over here is another little tuck with some journaling spaces, tags, the library card, journaling spaces. Over here what I've done is I've taken Tim Holtz journaling cards and some die cuts, my rusted paper, faux paper, it's rusted, and these flip up for more journaling spots. Then they just tuck back in. It's kind of like a secret again, another secret spot. This opens, and on this side is some some distressed and like varnished cardboard that I've decorative stitching on that strip, and some of those vintage French cards I have, and some more journaling cards in these two little pockets. Behind it I've included I think it's the Cape Cod in Boston, the swan boats, and Cape Cod, Witchmere Bay, the swan boats at the public gardens. And I think this was Bohemian Craft in her office papers, which I printed out on a premium presentation paper. I printed on both sides, so you have lots of places to write on. In that pocket. And this was some printable, behind it, some printable vintage wallpaper. Over here is some more. These are stitched slots. There are tags, journaling cards. In both of these. Each of these flip those little coin envelopes, and I put a little piece of ribbon for this one. Has a vintage mahjong cards. I put a little quote there, and the person who wrote the quote on the back there. This flips up for some more journaling spaces. And then that flips up for some more. Lots of secret journaling spaces. In here is another tag with some more of that numbered paper. And that closes up with that tab. This one's the same thing. Another quote and another mahjong card, vintage mahjong card. And who said that. Some more journaling spaces. And another tag behind there. I'm hoping it's videoing all right. Over here is a very distressed envelope I made, and it's got some like a screw brad there, make it look like it's been screwed in. Some vintage playing cards inside that I've just left alone. I think this is Russian. It's a beautiful image. This unties on this one, on this screw head, and this flips up and this flips out, so you have lots of journaling spaces here, and the same with on the time card if you wish. Behind here is a pocket and some stamped Rolodex cards that I've stamped in distressed. Another one of those office papers that I've distressed, and it's printed on premium presentation paper, both sides. Beautiful feel. It's nice to write on. Some more collage work. And that just ties back up, and I just tucked this envelope in there. This opens up once again, and this is held closed with a magnet. It's all these vintage advertisements and for lots of journaling spaces. There's 6 cards. Some have been collaged, some are left plain, and just more writing spaces. And it closes up, and the magnet holds it closed. On this side is some three pockets with lots of stuff. Another one of those papers to write on. A vintage Quizmo card. Some tags with some more like advertisement that I put lined paper, coffee dyed and lined. These are 2 little booklets I made, just using various scraps of paper. This is just a little played around thing. That just look cute in there. This side is some hemp cord, some braided hemp cord, and I've attached 2 of Tim Holtz charms. Stay curious, go see and explore. That you can maybe put a journal in there eventually after you remove some of this stuff. If you want. Over here is a pocket that I put in this that Eva from Bohemian Crafting was showing about these envelopes. I've distressed it, and it's a slider envelope, and it's all collaged, and so it slides open, and there's a an advertising card, a vintage advertising card with some journaling spot on the back, and it slides in. So it's like another secret area. This holds down this booklet, which is actually, this is slid in. This slides in and out. There's more collage work back there. And this is just a long booklet. Lots of journaling pages in that. And that just slides back on like that, and then I tuck in. On this side is another tab, and this is holding 2 vintage flinch cards in this altered envelope. I think it's a florist envelope. So 7-11, I figured they're lucky numbers. And this is one of those pages, those office pages that I've put in and tri-folded. So you have lots of journaling spaces throughout. And that's held close with that. In here is held on with this, I used some rust. I had some Rust Effects paint and rusted this bulldog clip and put some vintage bingo wooden ones, the real vintage ones I had purchased off of Etsy. And this has an oxidized paper clip on there holding down these vintage bicycle playing cards, the number 3, and that's what they look like when I purchase them. I love them. Some more of that paper, that office paper that's been folded up and distressed, printed on both sides. More of that office paper, general ledger. And some more, but a small piece of this one that I've made it look like it had been folded at one time. And then that vintage, those file folders my husband gets me, and I just left that. And that all just clips together. The paper clip. Underneath it all is this pocket, a lot of collage work, and I have this neat little window thing I came up with. This is from die cuts. So I made a slide. I put a little thing in there. I think that was Victoria Designs printable, but this opens up like that. It tucks in there, and there's lots of areas to journal in there also. And then it just tucks in. And that goes into that pocket. Behind here I've created a gusseted pocket that has fabric corners on it. It's very, very thick. I put one item in one of the pockets, but the rest I've left empty for your own stuff. It's very secure. It's that vintage straw paper envelopes my husband had gotten me. This creation, these were Tim Holtz hardware, I think it was. Hardware. And this was printed fabric, and that was Tracy Fox, a digital printout that it printed on the fabric that's back to paper. And it just makes some pockets for you to use, some tuck spots, and these have magnets also in the back. This closure is part of that file folder that's on the back of this. This is the actual part that used to go through a rod, so that's what I use for the closure for the gusseted pockets, the expandable pockets. I also use some of that hardware that I've made to look like aged bronze in some of those industrial brads there. I just put the bulldog clip over that. The back I just left collaged with a nice collage all over. The side has some faux rusted Tim Holtz electrical or whatever, no, design studio and property of art department, and a pressed brass piece on there. So I hope you enjoy and have a good night.